You know, I could be mistaken. I'm willing to be mistaken. But I'm pretty sure Yogiri, our OP brokenness that not many, if any, anime characters can compare to, just killed the Dark God of this show. I assume is the equivalent of the big evil of this world. Before the boss fight started, before he was ready to be summoned, and without knowing what he just did, they stumble upon this big isekai storyline of all these heroes competing to learn about from this swords master. There's some miasma polluting. Didn't even notice it at first, but it does disappear if you go back and rewatch that scene. Without knowing what he did, the MC Yogiri, in my instant death ability, said, "Hey, I think that thing's doing it." Killed it without anyone knowing because he's not flashy. He makes something alive and kills it. It's over. If he wanted to destroy that big ass looking portal thing, he could do that. The man's so broken, and the fact that this isn't the first time I've seen an anime just accidentally kill something or on purpose before a boss fight it's like, you know how when a video game cutscene starts and you have this big cinematic thing? It's like if you skip the video game cutscene and the boss was just dead. That's what just happened. Full live reaction to my instant death ability over on my Patreon. If you want to see the fun content, that's where all the magic happens, and then I just get left speechless as I try to formulate some thoughts for a video. I love how out of pocket this anime is, and how, in a way, this might be the stupidest and most intelligent episode yet, because the stuff with his backstory and the lab, his prison cell, really good stuff, and actually pretty sad while being hilarious because she tosses the most murderous weapon of all time into a mud puddle and says, "Go play outside while mom makes you dinner." Never thought I'd see a death god like this happen, but you know what, here we are. And then everything that came after that was just pure nonsense. I really feel like the author of My Instant Death Ability generally loves isekai. I've seen and read these shows where I feel like they're making fun of it because they actually hate the medium. I don't get that impression from this author. I feel like they just genuinely know isekai and enjoy them, and they said, "Hey, listen, my goal is to make the most overpowered character and just introduce every element that I've seen before and just have cruise control." Because think about it, right? He's just driving in a car, just doing his thing, stumbles upon this you shall not pass test. Couple dozen dragons, one-shots them all. Big thunder dragon comes in, says, "Hee, you pass." Tries to dip out of there. He says, "Nah. If you do that, I'll kill you." She has to come back. She rides with him. Takes him to the test zone, and all the people are like, "Was that allowed? Were we allowed to drive here?" Because they're just bamboozled by this. He has no idea where he is, what he's doing, why he's here. He just wants to go home. He wants to leave. He wants to leave this place. I can't say I blame him. But at the same time, if you really take a step back, the plotline we stumbled into with this swords master and all these different people, I was like, are we about to get a training arc, a tournament arc? I mean, it feels like we're about to have the third one I'm watching this season between Freer and Mashal, and now obviously My Instant Death Ability. And he just doesn't care. None of this matters to him. We get introduced to two characters that are kind of tagging along. We have this noble Justice, which honestly, he didn't give me the vibe that I rolled my eyes at. I was like, oh, hey, maybe we won't have to mindlessly kill people because he's saying it's a test, like only the people who do things without needing to kill. And I'm like, well, it's a damn good thing you stepped in because our MC would kill everyone. Still ends up killing a bunch of people, but it's all assumed that the Swords Master punished them. It's like, sure, buddy, absolutely. The best of the new characters was someone who walked in and is basically a walking gotcha mechanic. He has nothing from the waist down. Like, he's severed. He's done embodied. Picks up a promise crystal and he's just fine. And then he wastes all the crystals he has to show you the level of gacha mechanics at play. I feel like we're one step away from microtransactions being introduced in this anime because literally he got a cleaning sponge thing for a crystal that can also heal him. And at midnight he gets more based on how unfortunate his day was. So I assume the fact that he vomited up a bunch of miasma, he's probably going to get a couple of good crystals. I don't know. But either way, like, I love it. Like, at first I was like, do we really need this dragon girl to tag along with us? And I was like, okay, as much as I like the knight, but you know what? Give him a party of 30 and just let's have them take everything seriously, or just be out of pocket as our boy pulls out his Switch, plays some Monster Hunter, and just casually kills the giant evil of this world. Now, even if this isn't the end-all be-all, he just killed a dark god. And if he didn't, I don't see what else he could be nervous about, because he seems like he just ruined Christmas It's kind of like coming down on Christmas Day and all the presents are already unwrapped. But it's worse because then you realize that all these amazing things aren't even for you anyway. It was for the neighbor kid next door. Like, she tossed a fireball into the puddle of goo, and it would take 200 years, 100 years for that fireball to get to the Dark God. And he killed the Dark God without anyone. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's how I'm interpreting it. And even if I interpret it completely wrong, it doesn't change the fact that nothing that is going to happen after this is going to change my mind that this is such an out-of-pocket show. Like I said, though, as silly and stupid as most of what I just said was, it's entertaining, and it was purposely done the way it was. I actually really liked his backstory, and now having a bit more, because the only thing we really saw was that scene when like the lights were going off, the sirens were going, and he looked like he was killing his way out of some experimentation facility. They call him Alpha Omega, which of course they do, and she goes into this big vault, which seems like a world within a world. I don't know how many people have attempted to be around him. This dude's pretty much saying, waive any, like, she signed a consent form that basically said, in death, don't complain. Like, they're crossing their T's and dotting their I's. Like, they want to make sure nothing can bite them. For a secret organization, they have quite the contract. And her qualifications is she's a teacher. And like, sure. But it was wholesome. It was cute. And the fact that we know he has an automated defense. Anything that opposes a threat to him would get killed. So the fact that she grabbed him and yeeted him into a mud puddle and said, go play, and that he just trusted her, says a lot about that dynamic, and obviously his smile said it all. The interesting thing is, like, the only thing that has appeared to be a weakness, and I think it's in this episode, is when he's talking about how he needed to rest because he used up so much ability. Even that's not a weakness, because even if he passed out out of pure exhaustion, his ability would keep him safe. Anything that tried to attack him would automatically die. There's nothing that can touch this dude. And the fact that nothing can touch him, and I still find myself even more interested to see where the insanity will go from here is why I love this show. I already want a season 2. I need to see how crazier this show can get, but, you know, I've seen 5 or maybe 8 shows in the past 10 years that have, like, killed a final boss before the final boss could do something. Eminence and Shadow is the most recent one I can think of, but I think if that actually just happened, this is my new favorite skipping the cutscene and just the final boss is dead I've seen. Let me know what you thought of this week's My Instant Death ability down below. Are you left just bamboozled like myself? Let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're around here, of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, we have a full live reaction over on my Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we have Anthony, Yoshi GBA, Onpaku, Anne, Grave XXI, and Bmoki FFE. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Have a good one.